Hi everybody, it's Lisa, Twyla's mom, and it's question of the week time. Yeah, this one's going to be out in the afternoon instead of the morning. I kind of got a late start today. I didn't get up until after 9 o'clock, and then I did a mask on my hair, did a face mask, yeah. And yeah, just kind of piddled around. And right now I've got about, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes before the football game starts. So I thought I would come out here in my garage, open the garage door, and just enjoy some of the nice weather we're having. We got a horrible, horrible storm last night. I mean, just torrential rains and everything. Hit us about 8:30, and it did stop in a couple of hours, but boy, it rained like you wouldn't believe. But I am out in the garage, and the question of the week is, are you guys getting ready for fall and winter? My goal to get ready, this garage ready, because it's a dirty mess with stuff everywhere, is to get it ready for winter. And what I mean by ready for winter is being able to pull my car in, because I won't be driving my car every day. So I don't want it, me and Scott's like, we don't want it sitting out in the cold every day, you know, because it won't be getting started and things like that. Now, our garage is not heated, but it will be out of the wind and the elements and everything, so that will be helpful to it. And my car is a teeny tiny little car, so I don't have to do much to make room for it, but I just need to do some, you know, kind of like sprucing up, cleaning, organizing out here to, because it's going to get too cold for me to do any kind of long-term work, you know, more than 15-20 minutes out here in a given time span, because it isn't heated. But my car will do fine. It'll be better than sitting outside for 3 or 4 days. So yeah, are you guys doing anything? Have you made plans to get ready for winter? My plans is to get the garage picked up, cleaned. I'm ready to move my car in. I need to clean all my windows, because here before long we'll be shutting them up, and you know, it'll be months before we open them back up. Now I do crack them, you know, every so often, just a tad, to get a little bit of fresh air flowing for a few minutes, not a lot, because that'll kick your heater on and everything. But I'm a firm believer that fresh air through the house any time of the year is a good idea, because you know, the winter months your house gets kind of stale, and even during the summer when our air conditioner is running, your house gets that stale, stuffy feeling and stuff. So yeah, I will open the windows periodically, like while I'm cleaning the living room, for instance. I dust, I vacuum, I mop. I'll crack a window just a little bit, you know, just to let that fresh air kind of come in while I'm doing those things, and then it gets shut. But I'll kind of do that just periodically. But I still need to clean them. I need to clean the windows, get that ready. We need to bring in the water hose and make sure our outside tap is turned off. And I mean, we've got probably 2 months before we have to be concerned about those types of things. But you know, if we're not using it by October, why not bring in the water hose? Why not get the tap for outside turned off, so we don't have to worry about that? And right now we're not using it. We haven't used it in 3 or 4 weeks, so why not just bring it in? I've got some tree limbs out here that we had to trim a couple of trees, so we need to get those off to the mulch place. We do have a spot here in town not in town, it's on the outskirts of town, that will take your tree limbs and your lawn clippings for free because the city makes mulch out of it for our park. So that's one thing we do have here in our little town for recycling. Now, if you want to take plastic, cardboard, or anything like that, you've got to, I don't even know where we would take it because my town doesn't have anything like that around here. But we do have that, which is a good thing. It's ran by the Parks and Rec department, and they mulch up everything, and so we've got to get that before winter hits because we don't want to spend the cold and wet out there throwing away tree limbs. And then let's see, what else do we need to do for winter? We need to get our cars ready. We'd like to make sure that our fluids are good and winterized, like the antifreeze and the windshield washer. We put in the winter type instead of the summer and everything. The summer kind is just really just Windex, that cheaper Windex stuff. But during the winter, we typically will put in the Prestone, the kind that doesn't freeze. So we need to do that. I also like to give my cars a good cleaning inside and out before wintertime hits because you do not want to be out in the cold trying to vacuum your car. It's just miserable. You don't want to do it. Now, I will go through the car wash, but I will make sure I go through one that has the blowers that will blow most of the moisture off your cars so my car doors don't freeze. Let's see, what else do I need to do to get ready for winter? The windows, Scott likes to go up in the attic and check the insulation, make sure that it's, I don't know what he does exactly, but I'm sure he just makes sure that it's fluffed up and, it's whatever, because insulation will kind of sink as time goes by. We just have the roll type insulation. We don't have the blow in or anything like that. He also looks for any kind of leaks that we may have before wintertime hits, because that is miserable. If you have a leak in your roof and, trying to get a roofer to come and take care of that when it's the dead of winter. We also clean the gutters. Usually we'll clean the gutters in November. It's kind of wet and miserable, but by November most of the tree leaves have fallen and everything, so we do that when it is cold outside. But and then about November is about when he will do another tree trim, of limbs and stuff. When the leaves have fallen, he can kind of get a better view of tree limbs that need to be trimmed. He got a new extension thing for his chainsaw and he is loving it. I tell you. We've got one tree limb though that is kind of up high and it's really thick and it kind of hangs over the top of our house. That we're going to have to pay someone to do because it's just too dangerous for him to do because, if he cut it the wrong way, it could come crashing through the house or his little extension, well, it's not little, it's like, I don't know how big it is, but it's long, really, really long, tall. It isn't made for like a huge thick limb, and this thing is about that big around, this limb is. So we do need to probably get someone else to take care of that one particular limb. What else do I like to do? Oh, I like to make sure I have plenty of water in the freezer. So I'll start saving milk jugs and coffee cans, just the plastic Folgers coffee containers. They used to be cans, but they're plastic now. So what I'll do is I'll wash those and get those real clean and everything. Then I'll fill them up and put them in my freezer. And the reason I do that is in case the power goes out. You may think, okay, your freezer's in your garage where it's like really cold to begin with, and but your food will go bad. It will start to thaw if you don't, have this prepared. So I like to keep some of those in there. Plus, if we need water, like to flush the toilet or what have you, I'll have some already that I can just thaw out real quick and put, pour in the toilet. We could even use it for a little sponge bath if we needed to. I wouldn't cook with it because, the coffee would give it some kind of taste. And you don't fill it all the way up. Do not fill it all the way up because it will burst that plastic and it will. So I leave like that much. And but I need to get those saved up and start doing that. I also like to keep plenty of canned foods in my kitchen, like soups and Vienna sausages, things like that, because my powers never went out for more than an hour or two. Even during the winter, I don't think I've ever been without power. But those are good things to have if you do. Those little pudding cups, just anything that you can just tuck away and just kind of like have them in the back of your mind that, okay, they're here. If the power goes off, we'll be okay for a day or two. Need to wash up all my linen, my bed spreads and everything like that. Get them washed and prepped. For summer, the thicker stuff, my throw blankets, stuff like that. Get our coats ready. Got to get those all washed and freshened up, after being hung up in the closet, for the past 5-6 months. You want to have a fresh coat to put on. Get our tennis shoes and our winter shoes, get them all ready and stuff like that. So there's a million things that you really need to and there's small things, nothing big, that you need to kind of do for getting your home ready for the winter. And it doesn't have to be expensive. Like, you're going to close up your windows for the year. Well, not for the year, but for the season. So before you actually close them and never open them again, clean them. That you should go up and look in your attic or, your crawl space up there just to check on if you've had a leak somewhere, because they'll leave like a spot where there's been a leak. So you need to look at that. That only takes a moment. I think that we're all scared of doing that. Oh my gosh, I got a leak. It's going to be so expensive. We're scared of doing that. But you could have a leak for a real small reason, like a shingle's been blown off, or the seal around that shingle isn't good. It could be a little fix that could prevent it from being a big fix. Let's see, what else? Washing your coats, making sure everyone's got mittens and gloves and hats for the season. That's just something you can do. Why wait until the day you need it to have those things looked at and prepared? Let's see. The yard work. Getting your yard prepared for winter. We do not rake leaves. We just don't do it. We get a lot of them and everything, but we don't rake them because Scott will go out on a nice day He's been known to do it in December. He'll go out with lawnmower and just kind of mow over them and kind of mulch them up into the yard and everything. We don't rake leaves mainly because it's a pain in the butt. And for another thing, sometimes the leaves kind of give a protection in certain areas of your yard and stuff. You know, if you've got bulbs that you planted and things like that. My mom always used her leaves to cover up where she planted like her iris bulbs and stuff, and she just always left them there because she said it was like a layer of protection. I don't know how true that is because I'm not a gardener. I don't spend a lot of time outside. But those are just a few things that we can do to get prepared for the winter season. So I'm just curious, have you guys made your checklist? Do you know what you got to do to get ready for winter? You could live in an apartment building and still need to get prepared for winter. Because you still need to make sure your coats and gloves and your winter boots are all ready for the season, washed and, oh no, my son lost his gloves last year. That's right, we've got to get him a new pair. Or, oh no, little Sally outgrew her snow boots. We've got to get her a new pair. So, even if you live in an apartment, you need to get prepared for winter. Now, I'm not working now. Yay! So, I don't have to worry about myself as much. I gotta get my coat ready and my gloves and things like that. But my car is the thing I am the most concerned about because I won't be driving it every day. Therefore, the battery could go bad and things like that. So I've got to make preparations for that. So yeah, even if you live in an apartment building, you still need to prepare for winter. Making sure you've got some canned goods on hand. Just in case you do need to eat when your electric goes out, because the electric can go out in an apartment building just as easily as it can a house. And so you got to make sure you've got things, and make it something that you don't mind eating cold. Like Vienna sausages, pudding cups. What else is canned that you may not mind eating cold? There's a number of things you can, I had a fly come by me, a number of things you can buy that, the tuna pouches, tuna pouches, because most of the time, most of us have like crackers in the cabinet or some bread or something, but that's something we wouldn't mind eating cold, just in case you don't have a way to heat your food. Like I don't own a hot plate or anything like that, so I do try to make sure it's something that we won't mind for a day or two of eating cold food. The water. You can save water when you live in an apartment. It wouldn't be drinkable or cookable water, but you could save water for flushing the toilet, for giving yourself a little sponge bath. You don't have to freeze it or anything, but you don't want to save it long term, even for a sponge bath. Now, for your toilet, to flush your toilet, any water will work. But you could save 3 or 4 jugs of water. Like just stick them at the back of your coat closet or something and just write on the cabinet or on the bottle, this is for toilet use only. And then in a couple of months, if you haven't used it, dump it out and put some fresh, I wouldn't, now I'm not saying drink it, do not drink it, do not wash with it maybe, but strictly for the toilet, because that can be uncomfortable. It's cold outside, your electric's off, but you gotta go, not one, but you know what I'm saying, and you're thinking, oh gosh, I can't use the toilet. What if I can't flush the toilet for a couple of days, but if you've got that stash of water that you can't use for anything else, You can go to the bathroom and flush your toilet. Some people are like, how do you do that? What you do is you pour it in the bowl of the toilet, because when the water level on a toilet hits on a bowl, as long as your toilet's not clogged up, it'll flush. So you'll just pour it in there and it'll make that toilet flush. So, your little ones, you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, what if they have to go number, and we can't flush the toilet. Well, you got your stash of toilet water in the closet. I speak of this with experience because I grew up on a farm, and my dad tried so hard every single year to keep our water pipes from freezing. And it was a double wide trailer. I have no shame in that, growing up in a trailer. When we bought the farm, I was like 10, and my parents bought a brand new double wide trailer, but they had the axles removed and set it on a foundation. So that trailer is still sitting on that farm. But he did everything. I used to feel so sorry for him out there trying to get the water pipes to thaw out. And every summer it seemed like he would dig them up, rebury them deeper, and put the heat tape on everything. And just, it never failed. Come January and February, our water would freeze, and it would be frozen for a month, and he would work so hard out in the cold to get that to unthaw, and that went on for years. And finally, I think I was like 15 or 16 when we had one winter where it didn't happen. So I speak of experience where if you don't have a toilet that flushes, it's miserable. Because you're thinking, ugh, yuck, ugh. But we were really lucky. My grandmother just lived down the road from us, maybe a half mile, if that. So we would go there and take a shower, and, Mom would fill up water. Back then we had those giant milk cans. They were huge that Dad would take down to Grandma's and fill up with water and everything. But, and then Grandmom would take our laundry down there, and while we were showering, she would just do a load of laundry and stuff like that. But it was miserable. It really was. And I don't really think my parents ever thought about the toilet, because, it was like, you just kind of waited till you went to Grandma's to to do the what. But that's the question of the week. Have you guys made your checklist getting ready for winter? Are you ready? Yeah, and if you aren't, what are you going to do to prepare? So I hope you have a wonderful week. Don't forget to subscribe, give a thumbs up, and leave me a comment. I love to hear from each and every one of you. Bye.